How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about SPY and Triple Q, which had a strong day inside of the market. We are seeing a consistent run up. There's a lot of FOMO buying. We had the Fed meeting yesterday, and of course, Jerome Powell sounded very dovish, stuck with the 75 basis points that the market expected, and we are now seeing the market run up. We also got some recent earnings news from Amazon and as well as for Apple. We'll talk about that towards the end and the impact it could have. And then we're also going to be going over the charts for SPY and Triple Q and letting you guys know what my thoughts are going into tomorrow. I won't waste any more time. And just to remind you, if you're new to this channel, we also have timestamps down below inside the description because I do value your time. Let's get into those videos. So we're going to take a look at the chart for SPY. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at 406.07, being up 1.25%. And after hours, you can see it's at 409.15, being up another 0.76%. When we take a look at the range on the day, on the low it tested 398.15, and then on the high testing 406.80. Taking a look at the volume stats on the day, we traded at 73.269 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 67.406 million shares. So we had above average volume, and of course we saw a lot of strength. So the first thing that I want to bring to your attention here is that SPY has been on quite the uptrend. I know I say this every single time when I do these videos, but it's just to show you overall how bullish the market is when we're taking a look at the long-term picture. So we were testing lows over here on June the 17th around 362. And then after we came all the way over here on June the 30th, testing at 372. We ended up making a lower low back down here at 371, and this was back on July the 14th, and here we are with SPY trading in the after hours around 409. So the area that we need to focus on, since SPY has gotten to 409, you're not going to see it in the chart because they're taking into consideration on this candle for regular trading hours, is this zone between 410 and as well as 417. If you remember, this was back in June when we had the Fed meeting and when we had those horrible CPI numbers and the market sold off. So going into tomorrow, this is an area that you're going to want to watch very closely. 409 and as well as 417. If we're able to gain momentum at 409 and hold support, then I'd want to see a move going to around 413. As far as 417, I don't see us getting to this level until sometime next week. And that's if the market continues to be bullish. And if it's able to do that and break above 417, we can start seeing moves around 425. So add that to your notes. If we decide to have a pullback now, since we have been seeing a lot of momentum, I'm expecting support to come in at least around 403 to 404. Like I said, right now in the after hours, SPY is trading around 409. So if we have a pullback to that level and then make another move back up, that is perfectly fine. We still continue having that higher low pattern. And we have a lot of strength above all of our EMAs, most importantly take into consideration this 9 EMA, which is at 395.81. So if we had any sort of a significant pullback and we broke through those levels that I mentioned previously, this is where I'd want to see support at least hold and then seeing the SPY make a further move back up. So we're going to take a look at the chart for Triple Q. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at 309.81, being up 0.98%. And you can see inside of the after hours, it is up another 1.31%. On the low, it tested 302.75, and then on the high, testing 310.40. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 53.629 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 56.538 million shares. So we had below average volume on the day, and as you can see, we had some strength in it as well, and as well inside of the after hours. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, the first thing I want to bring to your attention, it is looking really bullish. We have consistently been forming higher lows. You can see back here on June the 16th, 15th, it was at 269. We could see all the way over here on June the 30th, 275. And over here on July the 14th being at 280. Now Triple Q is trading at 313.92 inside of the after hours. So if we're able to see some continued momentum, the next level that I'd want to see is at 325. And I'd want to see a break above this level, because if we get a break above this level, I could see Triple Q making a move to 330, and then we want to see what it would do from there. Another thing we need to pay attention to, this price action that we have here where you see all of this consolidation. If you remember, this was back in June when we had the Fed meeting and we had those terrible CPI numbers. Part of the reasons why the market sold off. So now that we're back around these levels, going into the market open tomorrow, I can see some resistance within these ranges, and that is between 310 and as well as 315. So that is an area to watch going into tomorrow. If we're able to get a full out break and having momentum, let's say around the mid-range around 313, then I'll look for that move going above 315 and so forth. But if we have some resistance and we have some selling pressure, don't be surprised if we end up having a pullback. What would that pullback look like? Honestly, I'd want to see us hold at the bare minimum around 305 and then continue the run up. If we decide to have a significant pullback, then of course I'd want to make sure that support was coming in right at this 9 EMA, which is at 301.19. So overall, let's see what Triple Q does going into tomorrow. So to give you guys my final recap for SPY and Triple Q and my thoughts on the market, looking at SPY being in the after hours at 409 is a very key level. And the main reason behind it, since we got to 409 in the after hours, the next move that you want to see from SPY is around 413 to 415. Will it be able to pull this off on Friday is what is going to be very interesting. We did have GDP numbers that came out that confirmed another negative reading. And what does that tell us? We are officially in a recession. But the market just took this, digested it, and then it ended up having a dip and rip type of move. We also have to take into consideration what Jerome Powell said inside of his speech. He said, hey, we're sticking with the 75 basis points, which the market expected, and he was very dovish. So as far as the SPY is concerned, I want to see it continuing to be on an uptrend, but we can't be naive of the fact that it could have a pullback. If you want to know what those levels are, make sure you're checking out the chart analysis of the video. As far as for Triple Q, we could see inside of the after hours, it is in the high 314 range. And where do we see resistance? At 315. So I want to see if it's going to be able to get to 315 going into Friday. Just like the SPY, this is a very significant level due to the fact back in June when we had the Fed meeting and then we had that CPI reading, we ended up pulling back. And now that we are back to those levels, I can see that there will be sellers there. So what you want to see is buyers coming in, bulls buying it up and moving it up further. Where could Triple Q go if it can break above 315? I want to see a move going to 320 and even around 325. This is a strong possibility. But of course, we've been seeing a lot of momentum and it can pull back. Don't be naive of that, because we cannot forget that things are not going to just go straight up. And officially, we are still not out of the bear market. When I was taking a look at the charts, for us to officially get out of a bear market, the SPY would have to be trading at 430 or higher. So taking that into consideration, I'm going to continue to tell you guys to be cautiously optimistic. Follow the trend. The trend is your friend, but at the same time, make sure that you size accordingly. And as far as for Apple and Amazon, they ended up beating estimates, and this is a breath of fresh air. We've been seeing the other big tech companies releasing earnings, and again, they have not been good whatsoever. Microsoft did have some pretty good guidance, and that's part of the reasons why it's seeing momentum. Of course, with Google, it's pretty much trading flat. It did have quite the pullback. We had Netflix that ran up quite a bit as well, and taking into consideration Meta, no surprises. They are still burning through cash, still investing in the metaverse, and they did miss on their estimates, but it doesn't change the fact that Meta still continues to be a money-making machine. But overall, let's see what the market gives us, and if you guys want to get some sort of guidance when it comes to buying options and making money inside of these markets, then join us inside of the private Discord. We crushed it today on some AMD calls. We had some Triple Q calls, traded some Apple and stuff like that. So I just want to make sure you guys are seeing success. Whether it's a bull market or it's towards a bear market, there's always an opportunity for you to make some money. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be talking to you guys real soon.